Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks a lot, the Pluralis for organizing such a wonderful workshop. My name is Egor Shulgin, and I'm a PhD student at KAUST. And today I would like to present you a recent paper, which is a collaboration with this wonderful group of people. And I would like to especially thank Antonio, who also shared his slides, which I used a lot here because of some issue with the laptop. Yeah, but let's start. So, I mean, the motivation here comes from this phenomenon of scaling laws, which has been observed empirically a lot, and now it's always used for, training larger and larger models. So basically, it says you that, how many tokens do you need to allocate when you want to train a larger and larger model, right? However, there's this idea of chinchilla optimal scaling that you need like 20 tokens per parameter of the model. However, in practice, if you want to have a useful model, people of course kind of overtrain that, because if you take into account the inference, right, then you definitely need to train it for longer, and it might be more efficient to train a smaller model, but for larger token budget. And even if you look at models released, there you can also see that this tokens per active parameter has been increasing over the recent years. It's known that the optimization and pre-training, it depends a lot on these hyperparameters, right? And the scaling laws can help you with some of them, right? But these are mostly empirical observations. And when you want to start a training run, right, you need to set up your hyperparameters somehow. And usually what people do in practice is that they do this scaling laws for smaller scale, right? And then they try to extrapolate these hyperparameters for a larger training run, because it wouldn't be possible to tune your hyperparameters, at 10 trillion token scale, right? You can just run it maybe once. And this is one of the kind of core questions that motivated our work. How are you supposed to scale the hyperparameters with respect to the token budget? So if we speak about setup, you can consider a fixed, small budget, right? You have a model of size n and the token budget t0, and then you want to, at first, let's say, tune all the parameters like momentum, learning rate, and batch size at the small scale, right? And here I just illustrate that every of these parameters can be important, right? But then, okay, you want to understand how you're supposed to scale this for this larger run, right? And this is our kind of core question. And there is one line of work on MUP, which is trying to address something like this, but it mainly focuses on the scaling of the model size, but not what you're supposed to do with other, let's say, hyperparameters, or when you also scale the token budget as well. So it does not quite guide this question on how you should scale your hyperparameters when you just change the token budget. There were a few papers which try to study this question from empirical perspective, right? There is how to basically scale these things. Like there were prior works by OpenAI, by Apple, by many groups, but we try to understand, and they derived a lot of scaling laws, right? And one of them, for example, is regarding the batch size and the learning rate. So in particular, what has been observed by a few works is that if you use a larger batch size, it usually allows you to use a larger learning rate, right? Given a fixed token budget. Another empirical observation is that if you increase the token budget, the optimal learning rate can also decrease here, right? And here you can see, I think, this decrease on these plots across different token budgets, across different model scales, but for a fixed batch size, right? Another observation, which is, I think, way less explored in the literature, is the scaling of the momentum. And in particular, if you want to increase your batch size, the optimal momentum can also go down. This can be also observed here. This was also, this was a nice observation by the group from New York and Columbia, but also mostly empirical. And what we do in our paper is we try to understand whether kind of the current theoretical bounds that we have for like muon type methods can actually predict this kind of scaling behavior. yeah, maybe, the last thing that I wanted to mention is a more open, I would say, question, how I'm supposed to scale the tokens, the batch size and the learning rate when you adjust the batch size. And this is the place where there is some discrepancy. And in particular, what some people observed in practice is that when you increase the token budget, you can increase your optimal batch size, right? And this is also somewhat known. But then, what are you supposed to do with the learning rate? And these two papers argue that the learning rate is supposed to be decreased at larger token budget. But there are also some other studies which actually go against this idea. And we will speak a bit about that. Okay. So coming back to our setup, the theoretical framework that we consider is this framework of LMO type methods, right? Which has been proposed by Thomas Pethick and the co-authors last year. And what's sort of nice about this framework is that it can cover different methods. And here, just to set up the notation, B would correspond to the mini batch size, G is the stochastic gradient estimator, alpha would be the momentum, which would correspond to like 1 minus B, which is used in PyTorch implementations. We don't have any weight decay here, and we use a fixed learning rate or step size for simplicity. And as I mentioned, this framework is quite flexible because it allows you to cover methods like normalized SGD with momentum, sin SGD with momentum, which can be a quite good approximation for Adam, especially when you fix beta 1 to beta 2 parameters. And in the case of spectral matrix norm, you get something like muon, except the Newton-Schulz part, right? Because you compute this linear minimization oracle approximately, okay? This family of methods can be analyzed quite easily, and our kind of results are based on this paper by Dmitry Kovalyov from last year, who derived basically this convergence upper bound on the gradient norm, on the dual gradient norm under these assumptions of smoothness and bounded variance. And next we are going to work with this rate, effectively, with this upper bound. And you may say, okay, I mean, the gradient norm might not be that important, right? I mean, in practice, we want something which can, minimize the loss. And we treat this as a proxy. That's one thing. And another thing is that there was a very nice paper by Rustem Islamov, like earlier this year, also presented at ICML, who also measured the correlation between this dual gradient norm and the loss on some language models, and who showed that actually you can also kind of convert, the gradient norm into the training loss. So this kind of bounds can be useful potentially for reasoning about the loss as well, not only about the gradient norm. Okay, so what we do here is that we basically take this, convergence upper bound, and then we convert it to this setup where we say that we have a fixed token budget T, which decomposes into the total number of iterations K times the batch size, right? So then this allows us to reason about this complexity just with respect to tokens and with respect to these hyperparameters. And what we do next is that we basically minimize this upper bound with respect to learning rate, momentum, and batch size. And then we see whether the kind of theoretical predictions that we obtain from this model match the practice or not, right? And so the first prediction is when we minimize with respect to learning rate and momentum. We observe that, with respect to batch size and the learning rate, we observe that indeed the optimal batch size is supposed to be scaled as like square root of token budget. And the optimal learning rate is actually decreasing when you increase the token budget. So that's one thing, and here we have this sort of match with the prior empirical studies on optimal batch size. The second thing that we do is we basically now we fix the batch size, and then we minimize this bound with respect to momentum and the learning rate. And here we obtain this result that the optimal momentum should kind of increase with the number of tokens, while the learning rate still goes down. And as I mentioned before, we have this kind of nice correspondence between some of the prior empirical works. However, we observe that there is a gap that the optimal learning rate at this optimal byte size can actually increase. In some of the last kind of empirical result that I showed you, they claim that this is the case, that the optimal learning rate, which is depicted here as eta, it scales with the token budget, so it is supposed to increase. However, there are other papers which show that it is supposed to actually decrease. So there was sort of a question, okay, why is it the case? And we have a kind of partial potential explanation for this, which could be due to the kind of scaling that people perform. So we argued that this all depends on the way you scale the batch size. So all these scaling laws, they of course depend on the optimizer, right? In some cases people use Adam, in others it was Scion. But it also, let's say, scaling of the learning rate depends on how you scale the batch size. In particular, if you kind of overscale your batch size, we indeed might arrive to the situation when you also need to increase your learning rate. Yeah, so I think this is it. Thank you a lot for your attention.